and welcome to Getting Your Money's Worth, the show that focuses on value. I'm Judith West, and our guest today is Marion Nestle, professor of nutrition at NYU?
At NYU.
Right, to check myself all of a sudden. And author of What to Eat. What to Eat. That's a mighty topic these days. In fact, for most of us, it's what not to eat.
Yes, well, this is about what to eat,
so
that makes it a lot easier.
Okay, good news, bad news, Marion. Good news, or I should rather say bad news. Bad news, the market is down and people are cutting back. Good news, maybe they'll stay home and eat.
They're cooking.
They're cooking.
That's the good news.
Right.
At last.
Right. So at last, you're getting your money's worth as a teacher of nutrition. What are the benefits of home cooking?
Well, the benefits of home cooking are, first of all, the food tastes better in most cases.
I agree.
And you can pick foods that you like. You get exactly what you want. You cook it the way you want to. And you're not adding tons and tons of fat, sugar, and salt, which is what happens automatically in restaurants.
What about folks who say, if I only had more time, I would?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's possible to make meals in very short amount of times, and it has to be one of those activities that you really enjoy doing. Not everybody enjoys it, but for people who do, it's a pleasure, and it's something that you can do together as a family. Yeah. It's something you involve the kids with. Yeah. You know, you get the kids cutting vegetables and doing all those kinds of things. It's great.
I had a story not long ago about a father buying a very fancy pizza stone for his family, and they all learned how to make pizza, and they invited their friends over, and it really became a big social activity of kids and families making pizza, sitting around and talking and having pizza. And I thought, what a nice generational activity.
Pizza's a great food.
And pizza, would you approve of pizza?
I certainly do. Not slathered with 4 inches of cheese,
right.
But
okay, let's talk about that. At this time of the year, the diet books are flourishing and all recommendations. And most of them say all you have to do to lose weight is eat protein and avoid carbohydrates and sugar. Isn't that simple, Marion?
Oh, it's even simpler than that. All you have to do is eat less.
Oh, that's a good one. But what about, do you buy into this? Do you buy into this notion of eat nothing white and protein, and I mean,
I have a very simple mantra. Eat less, move more, eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, and don't eat too much
fruits and
junk
vegetables
food.
Are carbs. Eat plenty of them.
Oh, they don't have very much carbohydrate.
They don't have much.
No.
So you're not saying avoid any food group.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. I think I like to eat, and I really love food. So I would never tell anybody not to eat something they like. I would just say, just don't eat so much of it.
Is that our problem? That with all this conversation, all these edicts, and all these rules, Americans are getting fatter and fatter.
Well, because they're eating too much.
Is that
it's just as simple as that.
And even all these fat-free foods and low sodium and low salt and low sugar.
They still have calories. Those are calorie distractors. There's now research that shows that if you put low fat on a package, people will eat more calories from it than they would if it didn't say that.
Yeah. Do you approve of this, of Mayor Bloomberg's, with all the restaurants having calories posted?
Have you looked at it? It's the most amazing thing.
It's amazing.
It's the most amazing thing.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
but
I think it's
apparently
terrific.
People are being influenced. You know, I was surprised, Marion, when I looked at some of those things, to find out a salad, which I always thought was such a healthy meal, could have more calories than a Big Mac.
Well, you start putting the salad dressing in, and more salad dressing, and more salad dressing.
And all the stuff, the bacon and the cheese and all that stuff.
All that adds up.
Right.
It adds up. It's good for people to know.
It's very good for people to know, and I commend him for doing that. You're a professor of nutrition. Who are your students?
Well, they're students who are interested in making people healthier. They come to school to learn the facts.
Your curriculum must include more than eat less, exercise more.
Well, it also includes a lot about specific nutrients and what you make for people who are sick.
I want to ask you something, because I really never knew what it was. All these things, I mean, I always read a serving size of this has 150 calories. Then I look at another cereal, so the portion size of this has 200 calories. How do they know that? What is a calorie?
Oh, a calorie is a measure of heat. It's extremely abstract.
How do these cereal companies decide? And they measure what? Energy?
They measure the amount of energy that's produced by those molecules that are in there, or they do it by calculation.
And calories count?
Oh, I'm afraid they do. Very much so.
Does it make a difference when you eat? Do you gain more weight if you eat at night?
No, you gain more weight if you eat more calories.
Period.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any difference when you want to keep it simple, right?
Yeah. If you eat at night, you're probably eating more calories than you do if you only have 3 meals a day.
Right.
So the more meals you have, the more calories you eat. The bigger the portion, the more calories you eat.
I mean, I want to believe it because it sounds like it should work, that if you eliminate fat and you only eat, and you eat protein, all these things, these diets, like the Atkins diet and the Pritzker diet and all this other thing, people do seem to lose weight on them.
Well, because they're eating fewer calories.
It all boils down to calories. It keeps going back to the same.
I keep saying it. It's so boring.
Well, it's okay. We have 12 and a half minutes. We have to say something else besides it goes back to the calories. Yeah. But that's...
No, these are ways of making it easier for people to eat less. So if you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, you fill up, you don't feel as hungry, you'll eat less. They have fewer calories.
I think our eyes are not accustomed to small portions, Marion.
Well, that's because in the 1980s, when people started to gain weight, portions got bigger. Those are not unrelated.
Right.
Portions got bigger, people ate more. If I had one thing to teach as a nutrition professor, it would be that larger portions have more calories. It's not intuitively obvious.
Right.
It really
isn't. And, I don't think, but you go to especially some of these restaurants, the plate, well, if anything, it's now became popular that the dinner plate was not big enough. People went to a larger plate.
Well, if you have a larger dinner plate, you're going to eat more calories. Right. You have a larger bowl, you're going to eat more calories. You have a larger soft drink, you're going to eat more calories. And you don't need any more complicated explanation for it than that.
And what about kids today?
Well, they're doing the same thing. I mean, I like to ask the question, when did it become okay for kids to drink soft drinks all day long?
Yeah.
The first thing that you do if you want to get kids to not take in so many calories is to get rid of the soft drinks.
It's a big abuser of itself.
Well, they have calories, and they have lots of calories.
You don't realize.
And you don't need them, and they go down really easily. And you don't think about a drink having a lot of calories, but it does.
Right. And also, I mean, we've said it. Pizza is considered a pretty good food, but but folks, how many pieces of pizza can you eat and be full and not get fat?
Well, you mentioned the calorie labeling before.
Yeah, because I'm always looking at those.
When it first came out, there was a pizza in one of those stores down there on 8th Street that had 2,100 calories in it, and I went back to that same store, and now they've cut the calories in that pizza.
So I just eliminate some of the cheese or something.
So they're putting less cheese on it.
How does a person know, Marion, what is the right calorie count for their, I mean, does your chemistry, your DNA make a difference? Do people inherit getting fat?
Sure, all of those things make a difference, but you can tell if you're eating too many calories if you're gaining weight.
That's the sole barometer.
That's the only, I mean, I can't estimate the calories in food. I really can't do it.
That's why I'm asking you. How does
if somebody else cooks it, you have no idea.
How does anybody really?
Well, the body compensates for small numbers of calories. It's huge numbers of calories.
So the only thing that if you're gaining weight, it's got nothing. Does it have to do with do you gain weight easier as you get older?
Oh, yes, you do.
Oh, what a shame. I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
It's such a dirty trick.
I know. Right.
Oh, I'm afraid
just as some of your pleasures are leaving you.
You have less muscle mass. It doesn't use as many calories. You have more of a fat proportion of fat.
Does working out allow you to eat more?
Yes. Very good idea. Yeah. Being active lets you eat more.
And it's also a good idea for your whole physicality to work out.
You don't even have to work out. Even if you're just walking around a lot, it's a good thing.
And you're active.
Yeah.
Right.
Just being generally active. I don't think you have to do anything special. Just make sure you're walking a few miles a day.
I don't know if it's epidemic, but this great increase in, do I say obesity? Is it? I mean, what?
Sure.
In Americans, what are we going to do about it? It's also a serious cost basis to us. It's a health problem,
and it's terrible for kids.
And it's terrible for kids because I think I've read that when kids grow up fat, they tend to stay fat.
Yeah, they do. It's hard to lose. Yeah. It's much easier to prevent gaining than it is to lose.
Yeah,
much easier. So you want to not gain in the first place, and that means keeping kids active. It means keeping the soft drinks away. It means keeping the junk food reserved for special occasions.
Yeah, we can't change society, but maybe the fact that kids don't go outside to play anymore has got something to do with it also.
Isn't that awful?
Isn't that awful?
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, and schools don't even seem to encourage it.
No, schools don't encourage it, and parents are terrified that if their kids are outside, that something will happen to them. We need to figure that out, how to deal with that.
We need to figure out how to figure out for kids to be more mobile.
Yeah, I think that would make a big difference.
I have read, I don't know if you counsel any of your students who go into becoming dietitians or in school, that schools are making a real attempt to clean up their act and not offer so many snack foods.
Oh, they are. Even in New York City.
Snack food and fast food are really abusers.
Well, yeah, they're extra calories that nobody needs.
Right.
So that's part of the problem. I mean, one of the things that's really changed in society is that nobody thinks that kids can go for more than 2 hours without eating.
Without eating.
That wasn't the way it was when I was growing up, and it wasn't the way
No, as a matter of fact,
kids were growing up.
As a matter of fact, most of us who had traditional homes, we were told not to snack between meals. I mean, if it was too close to dinner, you couldn't have a snack.
No, you could just wait.
Yeah, but now I see...
What a concept.
I know. Now, well, waiting in itself is a concept for kids. Forget food. But now I see that many trainers recommend 5 small meals and to keep up your metabolism. What is the metabolism?
Well, metabolism is the way food is processed in the body, and some people...
Do you inherit that?
Oh, to some extent, yes. But a lot of it is behavioral. And some people can handle a lot of small meals a day. I think most people, the more times a day they eat, the more calories they eat.
Yeah, but I wanted to just ask you about this metabolism thing. What is it? I keep hearing about this. Oh, you let your metabolism slow down, and if you diet, your metabolism will slow down. And then look at bears, and then when you want to eat a normal diet again, you're going to automatically get fat. Help me untangle that mess.
Well, it is a mess. What it means is that the body compensates for small differences in calorie intake, and if you're starving, your body will slow down to preserve those calories. But none of us is starving. Yeah. We're not starving.
Even if you cut back, you're not starving.
Even if you cut back a little, you're not starving. It really isn't the same thing.
Yeah, and one of the last questions before we leave, I mean, I have to say, I think that you've given us a very, I love it, just eat less, a simple formula. What about organic?
Well, I like it. I like it because of what it does for the environment. I don't like a lot of pesticides on our land and water and so forth.
Is it worth the extra money to buy organic?
Well, it is for me because that's my value system. My value system values not having a lot of pesticides, having animals treated in a certain way.
Is it indeed healthier?
It's healthier for the planet.
Okay.
And a little bit healthier for people,
for
perhaps.
People, possibly.
But it's it's much more expensive, and that's a problem for a lot of people. So I'm hoping,
especially in this economy,
I'm hoping that in our new administration we'll figure out some way to make organic production a little easier.
And then what will happen to all that that's not organic?
Well, people will still buy that.
Is it okay to eat a lot of meat?
It depends on what you mean by a lot. Everything is always, moderation in everything. That's what nutritionists are always saying.
So without all the fancy footwork and the fancy diet books, eat less.
Move more.
Move more.
Eat plenty of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. And don't eat too much junk food.
And eliminate as much as possible junk food. Though once in a while it's okay to splurge.
Absolutely.
Anyway, thanks for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Bye. You're watching Getting Your Money's Worth. I'm Judith West. Thanks for watching.